Oh, hi, Internet!
Oh, what a day. I do enjoy a completely sane, intellectual person to respond to. Sadly, I have a malnourished Witchetty grub to respond to today. I know Lacey Green's videos are sort of the town bike of feminism. Everybody's had a ride, but I do enjoy a good dicking. Take it away, bugs.
It appears that everyone's lost their damn mind again.
Dick, Lacey. That's dick. You've lost your goddamn fucking mind. Everybody else around you is pretty fucking sane.
You probably heard about HB2 in North Carolina, which requires that people use the bathroom that corresponds with their biological sex.
I completely agree, this is a terrible idea. How about we just abolish gender-segregated bathrooms? And I'm being dead serious.
And then PayPal was like, see ya, North Carolina, you suck! There's Springsteen, Demi Lovato, a bunch of artists.
These people do not care about the trans, nor do they care about you, Lacey, nor do they care about anybody but themselves. They're doing it to further their own fame, so they get more people interested in them. I genuinely don't think they give a fuck about you or anybody, Lacey. These people are rich. They don't care.
So like, yeah, sorry, no music for you. And Target joins the party and they're like, we support trans people, equality in our bathrooms, also buy stuff. And 8 quadrillion people sign a boycott against Target for letting boys in the girls' bathroom.
Boys. Fucking boys. Right, you don't see the sexism in that statement. It is one without the other. You mentioned children. Boys are male children. Men that are not yet men. I could understand not wanting men around girls or women around boys, though I disagree, as I think everybody should be allowed to shit what they please as long as they clean up after themselves. But you mentioned boys, specifically. You are aware that boys aren't rapists. Neither are girls. Neither are men and neither are women. Those are rapists.
Think of the children. And then the Department of Justice was like, we are thinking about the children and that's why we're suing you, North Carolina. Title 7, Title 9, heard of it? And then y'all, that Duck Dynasty guy who like won't go away jumps in and says, I have a radical idea.
More mindless commentary on how celebrities have nothing valuable to say in pretty much any given situation. Unless, of course, they are known for being intellectuals, which, in this case, this man is definitely not. Though it could be argued that his business practices are pretty good.
That bathroom is for men only. And
you stumbled right into my trap, Ms. Green. A small point, but you almost equated men to whites. When there was racial segregation, we tried to keep black people from using white facilities. And now we're trying to keep men from using female facilities. As you mentioned before, we're trying to keep boys out of girls' bathrooms. The correct equation you are looking for is men equals blacks.
Trans advocates are like, yeah, bruh, trans men are men. And well, basically everything's a mess. If aliens were watching us, they'd probably be so confused right now.
Now they're arguing about which one you consider humans, am I right?
Okay, I swear I didn't edit this. It's all on the source video linked below. Aliens would be confused about a lot of shit humans do, Miss Green. They would probably doing backflips at the thought of carbon-based life. Gender should not be confusing. Either you are a man or woman, it doesn't matter which you are. I think bathrooms should be genderless, there's no fucking point behind it. If we have to, at least do it this way. Use the toilet that corresponds to your genitals. Don't use your urinal if you haven't got a dick.
On its surface, the bathroom debate is an idiotic argument to have. Fact! Trans people have been using the stall next to us since, forever. The laws are there as a form of protection. This does not mean that bathrooms are a free-for-all. No, men can't just waltz into the women's bathroom, that's still against the law.
We are talking about transgender, not transsex. All a man has to do is pretend he is a woman. Say, I identify as a woman, and he is legally allowed to go in there. He could be lying. The same in reverse, a woman could lie about being a man while going into a man's bathroom. The way to avoid all of this trivial bullshit is to just eliminate gender segregation.
So, America, what's this really about? We are witnessing a truly fascinating modern debate about gender. And gender has been on America's mind.
Not just on America's mind, sadly. It's been on almost every Western nation's mind. And it doesn't matter. Gender is unimportant. It's pretty much a waste of time to talk about because it's an identity that doesn't have any ideological basis. doesn't have any intellectual discussion behind it, surely. Unless you wanted to debate the psychology behind it, or the biology behind it, maybe. But otherwise, it's just not really that useful a conversation to have. Doesn't pertain to science.
Bathrooms are forcing Americans to ask themselves, who belongs in a box literally marked women? Who belongs in a room labeled men? And that is an anxiety-inducing question for a lot of people.
Wrong. It's not anxiety-inducing. It's only anxiety-inducing if you yourself are somehow deficient. If you were raised in a box where everything around you is completely harmless and you're being exposed to other concepts for the first time in your life. Yes, not everybody agrees with you. Does that mean that they're bad people? Not necessarily. Sometimes people are just raised in different ways to think different things. For example, some people don't know the difference between gender and sex, and is this a bad thing? Do they have to be educated about it? Only if they want to be. If they don't want to be, let them live in ignorance, I say.
Right? Because gender is a big part of how we see ourselves. It's a big part of how we see the world. There are basically two ways that people are thinking about gender. In Camp 1, gender is the same as sex.
This is the incorrect camp. If you are to determine it by definitions, gender is what you identify as, and sex is something you cannot change, that you are born as.
Vagina equals woman, and penis equals man. Done. In Camp 2, gender is different than sex. Gender is about how an individual understands themselves and how they move through society.
You fucking what, mate? No, that didn't make any sense, Lacey. Speak English, please.
It's about identity, not genitals. So, what's the truth? Well, at least in academia, amongst public health and medical experts, it's widely accepted that gender and sex are two different things. Reduced to its most simple parts, gender is socially and culturally informed, whereas sex is biologically informed. But that doesn't mean that Camp 1 is entirely wrong. The fact that gender and sex are referring to two different things doesn't mean they're completely unrelated.
No, Lacey, they are very, very related. They are interlaced in such a way that transgendered people are an anomaly. You see, Lacey, you can change your gender whenever you feel like it, but you cannot change your sex. You see, during conception, a sperm cell and egg cell fuse at the nuclei because meiosis is a thing. A sperm cell has the sex-determining chromosome, as either an X or Y chromosome, while the egg cell always has an X chromosome. When the sperm and egg cell fuse, they form a diploid cell called a zygote. If the chromosome pair matches up as XY, then the male sex-determining region is present. This is called the SRY gene, which essentially controls the other genes to form testes and prevent female sex organs forming at all. Testes are responsible for the production of testosterone, which is an important hormone in determining behaviour and overall gender. If the opposite is present, such as ovaries, they will actually assist in the secretion and production of estrogen, which again is an important hormone in determining behaviour and overall gender. In this case, female. Anything else is an anomaly and a defect, before you bring in the whole 0.01% argument.
The way that we are socialized in the world is based on our sex. There are privileges that you can reap because of your sex.
You're trying so hard, Lacey. You really are, to try and shoehorn every intersectional belief you can in there, but it's just not going to work, I'm sorry, because you know, there's lots of privileges you as a woman have that men don't. You know, such as the right to keep your child, the right to genital integrity. Oh shit, these aren't privileges, these are fucking rights. Huh, you would have thought.
Are prejudices that people face because of their sex. I mean, yeah, this stuff is a little confusing. There are like entire libraries of books written about it, right? What this means is that for some people who are in the bathroom police camp right now, it's just a matter of education. A little myth busting, you know how it goes. But for others in the bathroom police camp, we're up against something a little bit trickier. Prejudice. Prejudice is fear. Fear is a hell of a drug, y'all. Potent as fuck. So what's the big picture here? Some Americans are feeling threatened by the pace of social change that's happening in America. They're called conservatives because they want to conserve what is.
Indeed, but resistance is not a bad thing. It is how we use the scientific method. In fact, if we resist certain changes while evaluating the changes we do make, we can make a more informed decision on what's right and what's wrong. That's just how things should work, you know? I'm not necessarily a conservative, but I'm certainly no liberal. I believe that if we do hold some older values while changing small things and evaluating the changes they do have, we can make more informed decisions in the future. And that, my friend, is a good thing.
They generally oppose change, and they don't want the government touching anything, whether it's their free markets or social issues.
I think it's more to do with the fact that they don't want liberals touching their shit. There's the saying that liberals don't want conservatives touching their shit. The only difference is liberals are allowed to touch conservative people's guns, but when you try and have conservative people touch liberal people's abortions, then it doesn't work so well, does it?
And yet, in relatively quick succession, we have had the election of the first black president, same-sex marriage legalized, government health reform. America's status quo is freaking out. There is an organized backlash that is growing under the banners of Fox News, the White Nationalist Party, the Tea Party, the pro-life movement, the GOP.
Do not mention Donald Trump, please. He's the only hope you have now that Bernie Sanders is not getting through and Hillary Clinton is a fucking nitwit.
Including a potential president, Donald Trump. Would you recognize it if you were to live through a second civil rights movement? What would that look like in the 21st?
Okay, some signs. Trans rights now. What right do I have that trans people don't? Black Lives Matter. Oh, I know these guys. They're a black supremacist movement built on white guilt and privileged black students who've never experienced hardship in life. On top of that, they do not care about anybody's lives but their fucking own. No one is illegal, unless they came to this country illegally, my darling. And some shit about rape culture. Have you guys really double-thinked yourself into believing most people don't condemn rape? All I hear from people saying she deserved it if she was dressed that way is from you people saying that everybody else in the world says it, which is just fucking scarily wrong. And you fucking dare to equate yourselves to the civil rights movement? Soak your fucking heads.
Century. Take a look around, fam. This is about way more than bathrooms.
It's also about doublethink and cognitive dissonance. Woo! The video's over. Fucking go home. Go away. Bye.